Now tune in to 13signsastrology.com. See, they're not gonna really hate you until you start talking about money. They don't give a fuck until you start talking about money. See, now they say Ramhotep is stupid and ignorant. And they say that I lost knowledge because my teachings aren't as spiritual and my views are lower and things of that nature. And it's like, how can I be on here talking about money and I'm not even getting high views? And I'm like, that's where you're wrong at, because money is, one thing about it is about knowledge. The more knowledge you have and the more you're able to apply that knowledge, the more money you will attract. And I know one thing is that how to hold old views. So though those videos may be 8 to 10 years old, I'm still monetizing off of that. So I'm saying that to say it's not to brag, it's about, it's a young person out there that wants to be an entrepreneur and they want to be successful, and they like, how do you start off? Like, they may be living straight up in poverty, like just like where I'm at now. They may be living somewhere in Southside Chicago in straight poverty, and they want to start a business or something like that. And they like, I don't know how to do it, and they don't have enough money to go to college, and they don't have, you know, these things or whatever. So they're like, I want to start this now, and I got the inspiration now, and I'm the person that's always going to be like, here's how you start it now. I might not be at where I really want to be at, but I can tell you one thing is that I can show you how to get started. You know what I'm saying? So what I want to do now is that I'm going to start taking you guys into, because it's actually really spiritual, believe it or not. Like, even though it seems real materialistic, but attracting money to me, from my vantage point, is really spiritual. Even when you're looking at these sports and things of that nature, I know a lot of that comes from the red chakra, or the red zone, you know, the root chakra or whatever. But really, a lot of that sports is spiritual, as I've been breaking down on other videos, when you start crunching the numbers and things of that nature. And what I'm looking at now is that if you notice, there really has not been a lot of ones in Major League Baseball dropping. And I pointed this out before. And this is because it's kind of being restructured. See, it's like now, instead of, see, it was a time when everybody was on this 1-0 thing. Not realizing that when you talk about 1-0, this is talking about really the ownership of the law. Meaning that you'd have to go through the law in order to actually claim and get, I guess you could say, and to be able to recoup on your investment. When you deal with a 1-0, you're going to have to go through law. 1-0 deals with law enforcement. And lawyers and things of that nature, the legal system. People don't realize that. So what's happening now is that a lot of more smaller people are becoming more wealthy. I don't know if it's from watching these videos. I don't know what it is. I know I'm getting a lot of attack, getting a lot of flack, but you notice there's not been a lot of ones dropping. This shows that money's being spread out. This shows that there's more people now, common people, walking around with their own money. This shows that what I've been talking about is actually working. Because it shows that it's no longer big companies. See, 1-0, this is a big corporation that goes and funds the law so that they can get ones that drop it. Don't get me wrong, they still at it, but it's not working for them. They're losing money. And they're becoming upset because of that, because now it's becoming more about the finance, the innocents out there financing themselves is what it is. You have to learn how to become your own financier to begin to visa yourself. So obviously, people are catching on to what I'm teaching, and it's not mumbo jumbo, because as I watch the numbers, you notice it's not really a lot of ones dropping. So as you guys know, I'm involved in a real deep visa. So my visa led me here to Chicago, not even knowing that Chicago is going to be like one of the top teams in this World Series. And what I'm doing based off everything that happened, and I know you guys think I'm crazy, but I'm taking, like, I want to take a vast ownership, or a big ownership out of the Braves, the Reds, and I'm also working in partnership, not ownership, with Cubs, because of some scenarios and things like that that's locked into my past life, and me trying to go ahead and visa my past life, because I'm serious about this. I'm vising my past life because my past life calls for me to become more than even a billionaire, honestly. And it's not to brag, but this is what I have to do. And it's like, what, most people have never even met a billionaire. And not only that, it's like, what kind of discipline even overstanding what I have my hand in and the things that I have to do. Because just like Jesus said, my Father's house has many mansions. So we got stake and claim and interest in all these different lands, but it's like, do you know? And do you have the knowledge of it? So with this story is going to really summarize and tell, you know, as far as this Major League Baseball series, as we go into the World Series, it's going to end up leading into basketball. But it's turning into a real big divide because there's a lot of people living. This is the point I want to make. I'm going to talk more about this, but there's a lot of people sitting in the seat of another man or woman. And it feels good, you know, riding in that car, like Jay-Z said, like in that Picasso video. Like, oh, Picasso, that's what he's talking about. Like, oh, what a feeling, because you really live in someone else's treasure or what may have you. And the thing is that it's going to come to a point where you're going to have to go down on that. And then that's when they send a Terminator at you. So they have computers and programs and things that they can start to write in your life when they're ready to terminate you or X you out. They write a program for that. A script for that. I'm going to talk about that. So making it to success and becoming abundant is just like people in the streets game, man. It's very dangerous. They put hits out on you. They don't want no information about none of this being talked about. They don't think that when I'm talking about this and people are here talking about I'm crazy and all of that, don't think that those people aren't being paid. So you got to remember that. Don't think that those people, they don't want me out here. I'm organizing people. They're probably more scared of me than, like I said, Gaddafi. I've been tweeting about that. Seriously, because of the fact that I'm organizing people and linking people up in my soul group. And it's not about me, but I'm not only that, but I'm teaching this common man, and you even seeing the scores, that the common man is now learning how to take control of his strong man. And this is really, truly the American dream. So what I want to get into, like I said on the next episode, is that we're going to go into like how they're actually doing this stuff and how to avoid this stuff. As far as them tapping into your family land and you living in another man's strong man, how to get out of that situation, because you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity, but you don't have to be that way. So that's what the Bible is talking about. You don't have to live in another man's strong man. This is the way they taught us. We were born into this shit. And it's an it's like a matrix that nobody really knows who started the shit. And it just keeps going on and on and on until somebody wakes you up to the shit that's going on. You don't even know what's going on around you. It's just like the movie They Live. And I'm going to close down. He had those glasses on. He was the only one that was able to see. At the end of the day, he was the only one that was able to see the shit that was going on. Until he started talking about it and teaching about it, he would have went crazy. And he not started talking and teaching about it. When he started talking and teaching about it, he proved not to be crazy. He ended up in the base, in the underground, and then ended up in a facility. And this is what living as a billionaire. This is how you want to craft yourself. You can't be selfish. If you're going to be a billionaire, you out here teaching people how to become millionaires. Why are you jealous or worried about what the next man is doing if you are really, truly on that path, though? So I'll talk more about it, as always. Just some positive words. As a man thinketh. Namaste.